Good Monday, Cup of Sales Joe. What does it mean if you're working hard and good things are happening, but you feel like more should be happening? You know you're making some progress, but it just doesn't feel like enough. You feel like more should be happening, or maybe your goals are just so big that it doesn't seem like you're making any progress? I'd like to talk about why it's important to keep plugging away, even if you're not seeing results. You always hear people say, never give up. While that's a grand thought, the truth is that most of the work toward success happens without fanfare. We don't reach our goals in one big sweeping effort. In fact, most of the overnight successes take about 10 years. But I'd like to talk about why that work is so important and how being resilient and working despite not seeing results actually works a lot like compounding interest. I was reminded of this personally recently. Let me explain. Recently, I went to see a band that I have become a pretty big fan of. In fact, you heard them in a recent message. I was really looking forward to this concert. Little did I know that there were two other bands playing before the band I was there to see. I had no idea what to expect with them. But when I arrived at the concert and realized who these two other bands were, I jumped on my phone and gave them a quick listen. I'd never heard of either of them before, but certainly they would have at least a passing resemblance to the music of the headlining band, right? The truth is, one of these bands is now one of my musical obsessions, and you're hearing them today, and you'll hear more. This is Challenger Deep. Let me walk you through a little bit of what happened that night. It was a small venue, so it was a very personal and intimate concert. And not only did this band blow me away with their musicianship, but I didn't even realize that prior to their set, I was checking out some of the merchandise they were selling, and I was talking with a member of the band. And afterwards, I got the chance to talk with another member a little bit about their history, their musical philosophy, and some other fun stuff. This band is extremely talented, and while they are currently playing smaller venues as an opening act, I have no doubt that they have greater things ahead. And it got me to thinking how we need to be prepared when opportunity comes along, and that a large portion of our time is spent putting ourselves in a position for success, which may not always yield the markings of success. In fact, we may feel like we're not getting anywhere, but that this is a necessary part of getting where we want to be. Hey Cup of Sales Joe, it's Scott, and I'm sure you have all experienced, just like I have, either in your hometown or while you're traveling, a little independent coffee house or coffee shop that you really enjoyed. The atmosphere, the vibe, and hopefully, especially, the coffee. Well, I have one of those that I frequent. It's called Mad Goat Coffee, and Sam, the owner, has been kind enough to allow me to offer my audience a special deal as they're about to open their third location as they continue to grow. So go to madgoatcoffee.com and use discount code CSJ to get 10% off anything. You can order mugs, apparel, other merchandise, and coffee. In fact, it's my favorite coffee. I'm enjoying right now their new Costa Rican light roast, which he just started roasting recently. I happened to get the very first bag. No matter your tastes, you can find something you'll love and be supporting a small business. So, visit madgoatcoffee.com and use code CSJ to save yourself 10%. Let me give you my best attempt at a Norman Vincent Peale, Napoleon Hill, Henry David Thoreau type of quote of my own. The road less traveled will lead you to a crossroads. That crossroads is where everything you've done intersects with opportunity. Now, some people think that the road less traveled leads directly to success, but along the way, you may not realize where you're going. In some cases, it's just leading you up to the opportunity for success. But see, it's just as important to know this. Many times, the busy road leads to just that, keeping you busy. If you want unique success, then your own path may look different than you think it should. And the hard work you put in leads to something different than we expect. But that doesn't mean we're on the wrong road. Sometimes it's actually our expectations that make us question what we're doing. See, growth happens without direct reward. That's why sometimes our hard work doesn't equate directly to results. Because as we work hard on our plan, we may not produce, but we are growing, expanding our capacity to produce results. And that's where it can compound over time, sometimes without us realizing it. The sudden overnight part of this is that we have grown to be better while the results suddenly catch up with our new capabilities. Let me repeat that. The sudden overnight part of this is that we have grown to be better while the results may take some time to catch up to our new capabilities. So, if you are frustrated with a lack of results, let me ask, are you growing? Are you learning? Are you transforming into someone who can create more results than you used to? That is the road less traveled, because most of the time, we want immediate results. But the growth road is the one we sometimes take for granted. But it leads to greater opportunities and greater rewards. The thing about overnight success is that it's a consequence of our immediate reward social media microwave world, isn't it? Think this through. If we work hard and don't become an overnight success, even though it seems like everyone else is, it creates stress and makes us question our own efforts. But realize that no one works to build a motorcycle and ends up baking a cake. Success and good work is intentional. And the times when we are surprised with what I would call good fortune is actually when we're putting the time in. Haven't you found that you may be toiling away and things seemingly start to turn your way? That's because you are putting yourself in the right place for those things to happen. When they aren't happening your way, take a look at how much you are putting into your intentional work and stop focusing on results. Waiting for success doesn't work. Working for it does, but not always in the way that we may expect. And it certainly doesn't happen overnight. But if we are in the habit of being ready, then we don't need to get ready. Finally, if we boil down success to the core elements in this approach, there are two. There is the work that we put in, and then there is the awareness of where we are and the opportunities around us. This is where expecting overnight success isn't all bad. It keeps us in an opportunistic mindset. We have our plan for our work and we stick to our plan. But as we do this, we need to be conscious of the things happening around us and how they can help us, influence us, and provide us with chances to advance. Being flexible to these things is the hallmark of a growth mindset. Being ready to work hard and being opportunistic is what we're talking about. For example, do you listen to news reports just to be informed? Or do you listen for opportunities? When I put together these messages, I listen to music to be entertained, of course, but I also listen for the message therein. If you're open to the way music can move you, then you understand this idea of seeing and finding opportunities in addition to working hard. As impressed as I was with the band, after their performance, they told me that they just recorded 18 new songs. It sounds like they are on their road, and when opportunity strikes, they'll be ready. For example, had they not been on tour with another band that I love, OK Goodnight, and by the way, if you want to hear my message including and reviewing OK Goodnight, go to my YouTube channel, Cup of Sales Joe, and listen to the message titled Goodnight Leonardo. If they hadn't been on tour with OK Goodnight, Challenger Deep, I would have never found them, and I wouldn't be immersed in what is for me a new musical journey in my life. What is your new music that you're putting together for when you get your big chance? Do you have the work equivalent of 18 songs prepared, or are you just keeping up? Are you working hard, or are you preparing for the success you deserve and reaching your goals? You do realize that while one may feel like the other, we do have to realize hard work does pay off, just not always in the way we expect. As always, have a great week. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, I know you're enjoying this music. But let me just mention, if you want to hear more about this topic, how to become an overnight success, then check out my YouTube channel, Cup of Sales Joe, and find another cup, overnight success.